When I first started out in the gym, my chest was the weakest body part out of all of them by far. And as a matter of fact, I used to get taken the mick out of by some of my mates for how weak my chest was compared to my other muscle groups like my arms or my back. And now I would argue, and people have said, that it is probably one of my strongest body parts. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys 3 tips that helped me completely transform my chest. So tip number 1, and arguably probably the most important one out of them all that helped me grow my chest ridiculously, is shoulder retraction. If you don't necessarily know what shoulder retraction looks like, you basically just bring your shoulders up, back and down, right? What this does, it sticks out your chest. Notice when you're not retracting your shoulders, your chest is sort of caved in and your shoulders are overwhelming it. However, if you move your shoulders up, back and down, this just completely brings your chest out, and it emphasizes putting tension on your chest when you do your exercising. If you're doing a chest fly and you have your shoulders retracted and you bring your arm all the way back here, you're going to get more of a stretch on your chest. Look at it like this. So if I were to retract my shoulders and I would bring my arm back here, you can see that I'm getting so much more of a stretch, and it's all chest when I contract. However, if I was to do pec flies like this, I'm not getting much of a stretch when I get back here, and I'm not getting as much of a contraction over here, and my shoulders are going to be doing a lot of the work. So it's super important that we retract our shoulders so we can stick our chest out, so we can get more of a stretch on our movements, and we can get a better contraction and isolate our chest better. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2, if you want to grow your chest, is to think about when you push the weight up on your presses or you bring the weight together on your flies, you want to think about bringing your biceps or your elbows as close together as you possibly can. And you want to think about wanting to make them touch. Obviously, that's impossible during the movement, but you want to think about making them touch and bringing them as close together as you possibly can. When you do this, when you think about bringing your biceps together, then that puts all of the squeeze and all of the contraction on the chest. However, if you just bring the weight together like this with the fly, then your front delt is going to come in here. And it's like that, the exact same thing with the presses. When you press like this, then you're going to put so much more of a squeeze on your chest when you think about wanting to bring your biceps together. Whereas if you were to just press normally, then that will get more of your front delt involved, and we want to make it all chest. So when you're doing your presses, when you're doing your flies, you want to make sure you think about in your head about bringing your biceps and your elbows as close together at the top of the movement as you possibly can, and this will exponentially grow your chest. So the final tip I have for you guys for chest growth is making sure you are slow and mindful with your repetitions. And more specifically, I mean holding the squeeze at the top of the movement and holding the stretch at the bottom of the movement, both literally like for 1 second at a time, right? 0.5 seconds to 1 second, right? So instead of when you're doing bench press, for example, you go down to the bottom and you push straight back up, hold it for 0.5 seconds really quickly, and when you're at the top, hold it for 0.5 seconds and squeeze your chest as much as you possibly can when you get to the top of the movement. What this is going to do is fire the muscle up with so much blood, the pump is going to be absolutely ridiculous. This is going to help you enhance your mind muscle connection. You're going to be able to fatigue and work your chest near or to failure with a lighter weight, which is so efficient because muscle growth isn't necessarily about how heavy we can lift, but how heavy we can make the lightest weight feel. And all of these tips contribute towards that, right? Towards being efficient and stimulating our chest as efficiently as possible with the lightest weight possible, so we've got more room to progress in the future. So when you get to the bottom of your flies or the bottom of your presses when you're at the stretch, hold it for 0.5 seconds and then push up. This completely kills the momentum, which basically, it gets rid of any momentum doing the rep, and it puts all the pressure on your chest to do the rep, right? And when you hold it at the top of the fly or at the top of the press, what this does is, as I just said, puts emphasis on the contraction and gets as much blood rushed into the muscle as possible. So they are my top 3 tips for chest growth. Just before I let you go, if you're a beginner and you're on the skinnier side of things and you're looking to gain weight and build muscle, but you're feeling a little bit lost, you're not necessarily making the progress you'd like to, and you're lacking direction, then I'd absolutely love to have you as the newest member of my very own free community, where I basically just give the guys in there some free coaching and I teach them the fundamentals which will help them break free from their weight and muscle gain struggles if they're having any, or if they're at the very start of their journey, I basically hold their hand to helping them achieve their goal in the long term, right? And here are some of the wins from some of the guys in the community. I'll put them on the screen, and I'd absolutely love to see you winning from the information you consume in there. So if that sounds interesting to you, then I'd absolutely love to have you in there. It's going to be the top link in the description, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.